to arrive at this list? What did I first do to arrive at this list?
You have first given us instructions.
Sorry.
You gave us instructions first.
I gave suitable instructions. Then what happened?
You gave instructions and you took the asking one by one, taking the information from them.
Before that, did you do anything? Before I asked everybody to give me
Before
forming pairs, did I ask you to do anything?
You asked us to write individually your opinion.
Jot down the make a list. I asked you to make a list of the things that you think are useful tools. So first, I gave you opportunity to think and make a list. Make a list of the things that you think would be useful to teachers to make classrooms student-centered. After you made a list of the points, what did I ask you to do?
Advantages.
I asked you to talk to each other. Talk to each other. If I asked you to talk to each other before you made the list, you would not have anything to talk about.
Yes.
You will begin thinking. So first I asked you to make a list, then I asked you to talk to each other so that you have something to base your discussion on, and your discussion will be easily developing based on the points that you've made. And then after discussing with each other, I asked you to not list all the things that you wrote, but discuss. I gave you a purpose to discuss. So that his purpose was to identify one or two techniques that you consider are more important than the others. So each pair came up with a different list, a different item that they considered best. So all these items you arrived at, all these priorities you arrived at after discussing with your partner.
Yes.
So do you think this kind of work can be organized in any class?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Sure.
Absolutely.
For instance, I have taught the present simple tense in my class yesterday. Can I use pair work to teach them present simple tense?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Can anybody tell me how will you use that? Yes?
Simple present.
Yeah. Simple present I taught in the class yesterday, and I want to use pair work.
Simple present tense structure is subject plus V1 plus object. So this is nagaLAKSMI. So this is a structure, sir. This is the subject. Like she is the subject, is the verb, and object is nagaLAKSMI, her name. So she is nagaLAKSMI. She likes natural science.
Can you
So
tell me the steps that are involved in organizing pair work for the present simple tense?
yes.
One second.
I can use this. You can use this pair work in teaching present tense in the classroom or simple present tense. First of all, I ask students to write down what are their likes and dislikes, what are their habits. Make a list of them. Then I ask them to think about the structure, subject plus verb. Then I ask them to work in pairs and construct sentences using those likes and dislikes. Thank you.
So maybe something very similar to that. You can divide your activity into stages.
Yes.
First, maybe you can ask your students to make a list of a few habits of theirs. Don't worry about nouns, subjects and all that. Okay? Maybe make a list of a few habits or some things that I do every day. I wake up at so and so time. I do this in the morning. I go to college at this time. Whatever. Then I talk to my partner, and in pairs we discuss what we do together or what we do in common. I wake up at 6 o'clock, you wake up at 6 o'clock, so then we arrive at the concept, we wake up at 6 o'clock. So we have taught them one more structure.
Yes.
I wake up, you wake up, we wake up. We wake up at 6 o'clock is that. Then when we are sharing with the class, if there is something that many of us do, everyone wakes up in the morning. So everyone wakes up in the morning is one more structure. It's still in the present simple tense. So we have taught them one more structure where the third person is used and then everyone wakes up, he is learning a new structure. So we can arrive at, these kinds of structures by using pair work quite effectively. Suppose you are teaching some other subject, not English. Maybe you are teaching, you said that you like many other subjects. So suppose you are teaching mathematics, political science and other subjects. Can you use pair work in the class? Can you think of a situation where pair work can be used when you are teaching some other subject? Rose, I think you can tell something about maybe mathematics. Suppose you are teaching mathematics.
Mathematics, they have definitions and concepts. So I can divide the class into pairs and then ask them to learn the definition the previous day and come to the class, and based on that they can work out together problems and then share it with the class.
Anita, you'd like to say something?
The simplest way for the subject teachers to do it would be, after the lesson is over, the question answers or problems that are there, individually the students would do it first and then do a quick pair work so that they're cross-checking with their partners, and so that will give them the confidence that they are doing it, and then you do a class check. So you have the collaborative learning taking place. It could be done in any class.
Great. Great, that's wonderful.
And even commerce teachers can also very much use this CLT or
like
student
can you give us an
learning.
instance?
For example, there is a topic like advertising. So they can just, in a popcorn method, they can ask students to form themselves into groups and talk about what advertisements are. Exactly, what pair work or group work. It can be beautifully done, and they do a lot of groundwork before the teacher takes on that and starts and takes over the topic. So therefore, this is a kind of wonderful, not only warm-up, it also brings out the background knowledge, and which helps the teacher how to base his lesson, where to start his lesson from, and then to what extent he can take them to, isn't it?
So going back to these two examples that they've given, for instance, I am teaching mathematics. I want to teach some definitions. For instance, today my lesson is on time. Maybe I go to the class and I ask students to first think and write whatever they know about time. What is time? My question is, what is time? So students arrive at some kind of a crude definition. I don't think my students really can define time, but still, because I have given them an opportunity, they will arrive at some kind of a definition for that. Maybe then I'll form pairs and I'll ask them to discuss and show the definition that they've written to each other, and together define time better, because two heads put together arrives at a better answer. So they come together and they arrive at a better answer. Now I ask the pairs to share with the class whatever their findings are, whatever their definitions are. So after talking to quite a few pairs, maybe the teacher himself can arrive at a beautiful definition for time. So taking maybe 1 point from here, 1 point from here, time is this, oh, you said time is this, you said time is this, you said time is this, time means all these things. So let's arrive at a common definition. Right? He took the example of commerce, for instance. He talked about advertising. Suppose I am teaching advertisements. Maybe I'll ask my students to first talk about or first think about one advertisement that they have liked very much for any reason, and also why they like it, what features have gone into making it very popular. So the features of good advertisements. So then they become pairs and they talk to each other, and finally they arrive at some characteristics. I can list on the board what are the good features, what are the good characteristics of advertising, a good advertisement. What makes an advertisement good? So it can be effectively used for teaching any subject for that matter, irrespective of the subject, irrespective of the stage at which you are. It can be used at the beginning of a class, during the middle of a class, at the end of a class, before you begin a lesson, at the end of the lesson, at any stage. Pair work can be completely effectively used. So to recall the 3 steps that we had gone through while doing pair work, what was the first stage that we went through? Thinking. We thought. So that is called the thinking stage. Pair work always begins with the thinking stage. Don't surprise your students by asking them to come up with lots of ideas all of a sudden. So give them some time, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes as possible. Give them some time and ask them to think and put down on paper whatever they have thought. Without that, pair work does not happen successfully. You must always begin with scribbling down ideas as they occur to them. That's the first stage, thought, think. Then after think, what did you do? You paired, you formed paired. Pairing, today I asked you to, because you are all senior teachers and also you've been exposed to these techniques, I asked you to talk to your neighbor. But do you think it's going to work it that way in the classroom? Sometimes it may not. Your students may not follow it the way you followed. So what do I do? What do a teacher do? What does a teacher do? So the teacher takes enormous care to ensure that the pairs are formed properly. So maybe the teacher does not mind spending some time saying, you both are a pair, talk together, you both are a pair, talk together, you both are a pair, talk together. That kind of care he takes. And for variety, he can also sometimes ask some students to move about if infrastructure allows that. I know the kind of constraints that we have with regard to infrastructure in our own classrooms, and in case it allows, sometimes for variety we can ask them to move their places and do lots of kinds of, all kinds of tricks can be paid to make the lesson interesting, make the process interesting. And another interesting thing that can be done is pair work can be formed on the basis of the lesson that we are teaching. It can be related to the lesson. Can you think of an example? Suppose I have taught in my English text, for instance, I have taught the Conjurer's Revenge. The Conjurer's Revenge I have finished. How can I make pairs?
Yeah, the Conjurer and the Quick One.
The Conjurer and the Quick One, thank you. So I say, okay, call out Conjurer or just Conjurer, Conjurer, Quick One, Conjurer, Quick One. So Conjurer and Quick One are a pair. You are a pair. You are Conjurer, you are Quick One, you are a pair. My task also will relate to the Conjurer, Quick One division. So I because formed the pairs on the basis of the Conjurer and the Quick One, I will give them a task that is related to that. Maybe I will ask one student, maybe all the students in the class to maybe imagine a conversation that happens at the end of the show. So in case they met on the days again on the platform, what would they speak? So maybe I will ask them to write a short conversation of 2 or 3 dialogues, and I will put them in pairs, and I will ask them to talk to each other, make a role play or whatever. So related to the lesson that you are teaching, related to whatever topic you have taught, you have finished, or you are going to teach, so that the pair work itself becomes lively. It becomes interesting. Suppose every day you go to the class and ask them, okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, it will be boring. Again, the students know that you are going to do the same trick again, and it may lose its charm. If you bring in some novelty into it, and if you relate it to the topic that you are teaching, it becomes very interesting. Okay? Are you all convinced that pair work works? Yes. And are you also convinced that pair work works to teach any subject? Yes. That's wonderful. You also talked about some another technique called group work. Can anybody quickly tell me what is group work? What is group work? What is it? Working in groups.
Group consists of 4 to 5 members.
Group
consists of 4 to
Why only 4 to 5? Any reason for that? Sorry, once again.
More than 4 to 5 members, it is very convenient.
So it should not be too very large.
To avoid chaos in the class.
Okay. What she says is that the group should not be too very large. Ideally, a group should be 4 to 8. Not less than 4, not more than 8, because it becomes unwieldy. She called it a chaos. The classroom will become a chaos if you put 25 members in a group. Right? It won't be a group at all. When for group work it would be not be convenient. And also infrastructure should allow it. Just check when it works, what kind of arrangements you need to make. Maybe you can take outside the classroom if necessary. Sometimes maybe you can use the laboratory, you can use a big hall. If the auditorium in your college is free, you can use that one day to teach your subject, whatever it is. So identify a place where group work can be done very conveniently, or maybe your own classroom will demonstrate that a little later. So a group work is some small number of people, students, 4 to 8, working together. Just working together makes it group work?
No, they should.
The
teacher should give a task, and the teacher should ensure that the students are put in a group, and then group work is done.
So once again, group work needs a task. Just because I put my students in groups, it does not mean group work is happening. Right? Without a task, how do I know that they are acting on something? Maybe they sit together, maybe they are chatting, or they are not doing anything productive, they are not using, they are not using any language in language class, or maybe they are not applying a technique that I have taught them in some other content subject. Right? So there must be a task. You want to say something?
Yeah. Group work is also time bound. Without giving time, if you give the group work, they'll continue doing.
Good. So there must be also a time limit given to this. The student should know, I have to arrive at some expected result within the next 2 minutes, within the next 4 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever. Once again.
So along with the time, clear instructions are very, very important. When a group is expected to do the work, we should give it in clear-cut instructions. If necessary, you can ask one of the group members to stand up and repeat the instruction to confirm whether they have understood or not.
Okay. Thank you very much. All of you are telling me how group work should be done ideally, but my question was, what is group work? So group work is some people, maybe a small number of students in the class, working together for a common goal on a task. They have a common goal, all of them working on a common goal with a common objective to achieve something. And they are given a certain time, and within that time they have to achieve something. They have a task on hand. On that task they are working. So in case I organize group work in my class, can you quickly tell me what advantages can you foresee using this?
Good
There will be
communication.
lots of interaction.
Sorry?
There will be lots of interaction.
Interaction. The next one. Everyone give one
Exchange
advantage.
of views.
Sorry?
Exchange of views.
Exchange of views becomes possible.
And
Everybody can participate, sir.
Everybody can participate. Thank you.
it suits better for classrooms of mixed abilities.
It suits classrooms where there is a lot of heterogeneity, mixed ability.
It gives a lot of motivation to the students.
It motivates students because they are actively participating. They are not silently, passively watching the teacher and losing interest, but they are actively participating in the class.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It gives them confidence.
It gives students confidence.
It gives students a chance to speak.
It gives every student a chance to speak. It's not one student who is dominating the entire class. It's not some bright guys in the class who always have their hand up and always are ready to grab the opportunity that comes, and also, take everything for granted, but every student gets an opportunity to speak.
Multiple ideas will emerge for a common target.
Lots of different ideas emerge. There is a variety of ideas possible in the class. People have different opinions. If the teacher has been teaching, only the teacher's opinion is, bulldozed on the students. Whereas when the students are speaking among themselves, come up with ideas, a lot of variety of ideas are possible.
And it also instills the concept of teamwork, working together to achieve the goal.
That's a life skill. That's a wonderful life skill. It's not just a language skill, not just a classroom skill. It is not confined to the classroom alone. These skills that these students are learning can be applied, can be used very effectively outside the classroom also. In fact, this is one wonderful life skill that's going to help them anywhere, wherever they are. Maybe it's a part of the employability skills also for them tomorrow.
Students can understand the concept, the teaching subject, easily in a group.
Yeah, when they are working at their own level, not with the teacher directly, when they are working for student heads put together, will help them understand it better and also speak better. The confidence level also will be much higher because they don't have that inhibition. When they have to speak to the teacher, maybe they are scared. They might make a mistake and all that. But when they are speaking among themselves, it's always easier.
It helps to develop negotiation skills.
It helps students develop negotiation skills. I give so much, you give so much. So this is a kind of give and take. Okay, I come down a little, you also come down a little. Okay, I agree, you also agree. Or maybe I disagree partially, you also disagree. You remember the various kinds of group work activities that you did. We always have to compromise in life. And the classroom is a wonderful beginning. Yeah.
It also arouses the
one second.
So every member of the group can play different roles. So one can be a moderator, one can be a timekeeper, one can be a presenter.
Very good, very good. So multiple roles can be assigned to the students or members of the group, and they can again be given specific responsibilities. We'll come to that a little later.
There's no fear of facing the class individually.
There is no fear, they overcome the fear.
The focus is not merely on communication of ideas, it's also on clarifying the ideas. The ideas get clearer when you then discuss it within the group. So this can be applied to other subjects. It's not just English. The other subjects also, the teachers can make use of this technique because the students get, their ideas get clearer when they're doing it in the group, when they're working together.
Okay, so when students speak among themselves, ideas become clearer. And because, they are working at their level. And if I explain to my colleague, it's easier than somebody else, a scholar or a professor or somebody much higher in wisdom than me explaining it to me. So it's easier to understand, it makes it clearer. You have something to say?
It arouses competitive spirit among the students.
It arouses competitive spirit among the students. Yeah, I will make the next point. I would like to contribute something to this. So everybody wants to make a contribution, like you are competing with each other now, right? So that's a great idea.
Their group to be the best.
Sorry? Yeah, we want our group to be the best. I want to be the best in my group, and later my group needs to be the best.
It also enhances.
So it is a wonderful example of cooperative learning. So group learning is nothing but cooperative learning. We cooperate with each other and learn together.
Mutual understanding is there.
Mutual, helpful understanding. Everybody helps the others.
Enhances interpersonal skills.
It also enhances interpersonal. Thank you very much for your inputs. Wonderful. That's really wonderful. So are you all agreed that group work is really going to be helpful if effectively used by the teachers.
Yes, of course.
That's very good. We'll come back to that a little later, but let us quickly, may I request Geeta to help me on the board. May I request all of you to just look at it from a classroom situation. Though there are so many advantages, group work offers so many advantages, still I think practical experience tells us that it's not easy to organize, isn't it? So it's not just easy to organize. We may, go wrong, or maybe some problem may arise, some challenges may spring up suddenly, and there can be lots of difficulties in organizing group work. I would like you to take 2 minutes first, don't immediately tell me, take 2 minutes, think coolly, think to yourself what can go wrong or what problems may arise when we are organizing group work. Just think coolly. Maybe you can recall a situation when you organized group work and then you thought later that you should have done it a different way. Yeah, if you have got some ideas on that, we are, beginning to take ideas from you, and then Geeta will put them on the board. So you one after another, each one of you tell one problem that, and in case the problem has already been discussed, you need not say that again. Okay. Yeah, the first one.
Lack of coordination.
Coordination among whom? The teacher and the students, or the student and students?
Among the SS.
Among the group. So coordination within the group. One second, later, right. So make your, the problem very specific and clear.
Sometimes there can be passive participation.
Some participants may not really participate, some students may sit quietly, so passivity. Passive participants. One moment.
Sometimes this group work might be counterproductive. It means, what I mean to say, some students, like fast learners, may not be in a position to share the knowledge with other students in the group, given the kind of cutthroat competition we are into. So teacher has to counsel the students, and he has to ensure that all the students are participating and they are sharing their ideas equally.
So bright students may not cooperate.
Sometimes it leads to confusion.
Okay.
Among the group.
Yeah. Large groups, it can lead to confusion. Okay. One second. One after. Domination of the brighter ones. Later. Domination of the bright students.
Cannot understanding.
Sorry?
Cannot understanding.
Okay.
Like content.
Right. Next, please.
Mismanagement of time.
Who manages the time?
The timekeeper. In a group we can find the timekeeper.
But finally, who keeps the time for the whole class?
Teacher.
The teacher. The teacher monitors the time. You said something?
Potential difficulty.
Like, what is the difficulty?
Potential difficulty.
Regarding?
Group work. Sometimes one person domination will be there.
Okay. It has been said. It has already been taken. Yeah.
There is one.
1 second.
Due to the constraint on the part of infrastructure.
So infrastructure can be a problem. Yeah, thank you. Infrastructure can be a problem. Availability of infrastructure. Yeah, one second.
So judicious division should be there. Sometimes one group becomes strong because all the members are bright. Sometimes one group becomes very weak because they are not so
unequal
good.
Groups.
Yes.
Unequal groups can be a cause. Can be a problem.
If the teacher comes to the class without a lesson plan or clear instructions, then the result cannot be achieved.
So teacher's preparedness can be unpreparedness rather. So if the teacher is not prepared, it can be a problem. Teacher just comes, he does not know how to form the groups, what does he expect, what is the task given to them, etc.
The class could get very noisy and disturb other classes.
Yes. The class noise, you can use the right side also. You can use the right side, no problem. So classes can be noisy. Sometimes if they are not properly controlled, they might affect the other classes, and maybe there can be problems with the whole college. Noise. Classroom noise.
So aggressive arguments may take place within the group.
Okay. Please wait, one after another. Aggression, aggressive participants. Aggressive participants.
So when the group work is given, there is a lot of chance for the students that they are very in the comfortable zone, and so that they may not use English language especially.
Okay.
So
Mother tongue.
Mother tongue.
Use of, no, I mean even you have to talk about the language class.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine.
Then use mother
language
tongue.
classes.
Yes.
One second. Let's write. For other subjects, it's going away, going off the track. Off the track. Deviation from the assignment.
From the assignment, from the task.
Okay.
If the teacher doesn't monitor properly, the group members, they may be derailed.
Same thing. Yeah. So there can be distractions, there can be derailments, there can be off the track. One last point.
Sometimes it may lead prejudices also in this.
Can you think of a situation where it leads to prejudices?
While they were grouping, while they were discussing something about the topic, they may get some prejudices among themselves.
Okay. One or two other points quickly. Okay, these are, thank you Gita. So these are some problems. I'll read them out for you once again. So the classroom coordination among the members of the group can lead to problems if the members do not coordinate with each other. Then some students remaining passive, they are not contributing anything, they are not participating in the discussion. Confusion can happen if the groups are very large or if they are very noisy. And one participant dominating the others, one bright student or one noisy student, one mischievous student dominating the others, or maybe always not allowing other participants to speak can lead to problems. Availability of infrastructure. So this can be a big problem because in case the infrastructure does not allow group formation, we are stuck there. So unequal groups, some groups are, in case while forming, some groups are very bright, they finish the task in 1 minute, some groups take 10 minutes and they still are not finished, and that kind of inequality can be there. Then teacher comes to the class completely unprepared, he does not know how to form the group, he does not know what task to give, whether task lends itself to group work or not. Some tasks may not lend themselves to group work. So if he identifies the wrong task for the group activity, it falls flat, it won't be successful. And the classroom noise can be a big problem to others in case it's not managed. Unless noise becomes productive noise, right? It becomes a nuisance to others. Since some participants aggressively, overbearingly participating and then snubbing the others, not allowing the others to express their ideas. And in the case of a language class, students using mother tongue can be a big problem unless the teacher very closely monitors. And in the case of the non-language subjects, derailments, distractions, students doing something other than the assigned task can be a problem. And these are some problems. We will break for a few minutes now, and then when we come back, we will proceed with this group work. So we'll break for 5 minutes. After that, we'll reassemble. Thank you very much.
Thank you for listening attentively to participants. Now we want your inputs and suggestions and how you feel about these techniques. So teachers, the 4 members will be on your TV screens. Please, when you want to ask a question, please lower the volume of your TV set and you can freely interact with us. Thank you.
Yeah, we look forward to receiving questions from colleges, the teachers who are watching this program. In the meanwhile, we are recalling the problems that we left with, the problems that you all gave me that you might face when you organize group work are lack of coordination within the group, passive participants, the problem of creating confusion among the members of the group, one participant dominating the others, lack of infrastructure, and groups sometimes being unequal, and teacher coming unprepared to the class and then organizing group work just for the sake of it, and classroom noise becoming uncontrollable, aggressive participation of some members over the others, and use of the mother tongue, or not some unrelated activities. So deviation from the assigned topic, these are some problems. Now what I would like you to do is, I would like you to work in groups and arrive at some solutions to these problems. 4 people sitting together in each row will form a group. You are a group, you are a group, you are up to there. So you are a group, and you are a group, you are a group, you are a group. If possible, turn your child slightly so that you will come a little closer to each other. Discuss and find out solutions. The solutions must address these problems.